call out the head of public service, and for a reason. On May 24th, a day before this crisis started in this country, the head of public service wrote to the Public Service Commission to begin the process of recruiting CASs, administrative secretaries. Who does that at such a time as this? Who does that? Mr. Speaker, we want to call on the head of public service to receive that letter like yesterday, or seeking advice from the PSC on how to recruit cabinet administrative secretaries at a time that we are saying we cannot afford the cost of running these offices. The Speaker, the next person of interest that should appear before this Senate and speak to the country is the head of the public service. The Speaker, I want to challenge the President, respectively again. The cost of living is what it is. Too much talk is not helping anyone. We have said everything that could be said. It is time for action. And there are things that I know the President can do and bring down the temperatures in this country. One of the things that he can do, even today, is to reduce his cabinet. Mr. Speaker, the Constitution, Article 152, gives the minimum number of cabinet secretaries and the maximum number. He can appoint between 14 cabinet secretaries and 22 cabinet secretaries. As we speak now, we have 21 cabinet secretaries. The Speaker, I want to call on the President, as a demonstration that he has listened and understood what the people are, reduce the size of your cabinet from 21 to 14, the minimum. Merge departments, reduce the number of secretaries from 51 to around 30, or even 14, to match the number of cabinet secretaries that we have. The Speaker, and there is jurisdiction to this argument. When you look at the United States of America, where we go to borrow money all the time, go for benchmarking all the time, Senator Alwale, the size of the cabinet in the US is 15. With a population of 140 million people, 14 cabinet secretaries in the US. When you look at China, with a population than 1.5 billion people, the members of the State Council is the cabinet secretaries are 26. What are we doing with 21 cabinet secretaries with a population of less than 60 million and an economy that cannot support that kind of expenditure? The Speaker, let us reduce that number. The Speaker, it is time for us all, and especially those who are in authority, to walk the talk. I said, too much talk is not helping anyone. I'm hearing of usual threats that those who break the law will face the full force of the law. That as we carry out these investigations, no stone will be left unturned. Mr. Speaker, making sense a long time ago. It is time for action. This sitting of the Senate is a call to action. And those others who are in positions of responsibility. Mr. President, if you love your country and you have listened to what the demonstrators are saying, let aid roll in the security apparatus and departments of this country. Speaker, I asked some young people from my office to tell me when the Inspector General of Police, Japhet Koome, spoke to this nation. And they went to the archives, told me that the last time that the IG spoke to Kenyans was on 17th of April, 2024. And what was he saying? He was saying, and I quote, that as the Inspector General of Police, I would like to assure you of police officers being dispatched to Haiti. He's saying, I want to assure you that they, the officers, have the capability, capacity in this mission, and that they will deliver when they get to Haiti. That's the last thing that Kenyans had. When the country is burning, the IG is silent. The Speaker, the requirements for demonstrations is that demonstrators would notify the police, they would be guided on where to go and how to organize their demonstrations, so wherever they are going, presentation of petitions. The IG is absent. Mr. Speaker, Mr. President, the words that the President used on the phone, Mr. Mutiambai, on the level of incompetence and being clueless, perhaps those words are better used on IG Koome. Perhaps actually the President spoke too early when he addressed Mutiambai. Competence and lack of capacity, the Inspector General of Police is the embodiment of lack of capacity to lead the Kenya Police. Mr. Koome must leave office immediately for this country to enjoy peace and tranquility. The Speaker, lastly, let me speak on this matter of corruption. The Speaker, corruption has become the order of the day in this country. Unfortunately, with the responsibility of fighting corruption is itself the biggest den of corruption. The EACC, the Speaker, is either unwilling or unable to fight the country. They will not help us in this journey. The Speaker, I've listened to the presentation by the majority leader on the performance of the judiciary. Record to applaud the CJ, the Chief Justice, for having the courage to lead from the front. A lot more needs to be done in the judiciary, and especially on matters corruption. That justice now has become a commodity of sale in the judiciary is a very sad state of affairs in our country. We want this corruption to be tackled properly, and the Speaker also challenged the demand side of corruption. Demand side of corruption, the Speaker. We must have a candid conversation as a country. When churches and schools and hospitals and when they look at their members of parliament, the people serving the public service, as the people who are supposed to give them money in Harambes to every weekend, every day of the week, where is it that we expect these people to get this money from? Mr. Speaker, we must have a national dialogue, a national conversation on how to. But lastly, Mr. Speaker, the Speaker, including what Senator Onyonka has said, but more this thing about members of parliament, about public officers being expected to dish out money in Harambes every.
Let's add 2 minutes for the Senator to conclude.
Thank you, the Speaker, for indulging me. So this idea of members of parliament being seen as moving ATMs, people who have so much money to just give, to people.